my channel because it's my second priority of work currently. Of course, I'm trying so much to build social media processes so that I see whether I can have an alternative here because, of course, I'm getting a lot of satisfaction from this environment based on the fact that it's my other home, okay? So thank you so much for those who come up to back me. And it's a moment when sometimes you reflect on life and try to see the reality about it. Guys, I really appreciate that Rocio Cabrera made a move. Many of the women are not courageous enough to take her move, and sometimes they keep staying unsatisfied. There's a lot of dissatisfaction in marriages, by the way. But sometimes in Africa, not many men want you to move on. I think you've seen examples of men who have tried to kill women after they separated. We've seen that they separate and there is a problem immediately. Maybe a mother deciding that the father will never see the kids, or the father deciding that he will never help the kids. It happens in Africa. So when we look at this matter, I don't want to look at it at a point where I'm pessimistic or happy about anything. Of course, separation is not a good thing to really see anyone going through. However, sometimes it becomes necessary. Just like sometimes we want to delink ourselves from some people or even places where we stay and we are not happy to be. And most times we don't get that opportunity. I wish there was that opportunity to actually get out of wherever we don't feel like being anymore. It gets to our brain, our mind, our everything. Even if I was the best of the best, I become the worst of the worst. Reality. I'm talking about this because there are experiences I've actually experienced that have made me to be worse than who I was because of the setting, because of the people around, because of the situations around, and you feel like you're burning up, you are suffocating. But maybe you are not just getting a way out. You know, one of the places is a place of work. You can get a very toxic work environment that makes you feel very sick about everything. You are disgusted every day when you wake up. You feel like, should I go meet the same people who really I feel frustrated in their presence? You don't even feel like standing before anybody and speaking, you know. You feel like you've lost yourself totally. And this is the reality that many people might be going through, but they're not ready to walk through it. Now, do we blame Rocio for coming out in public and saying, I don't think I can really blame her fully? Because one thing is that Marwa was trying to downplay this. Though from what he has shared, he knew very well that Rocio wanted to go. He has shared that they went through very ugly moments, but he used to assume or make an assumption that they would just walk through them. Sometimes there are moments we walk through and we will never walk out of it. I'm sure of that. For those of you who are in marriage or workplaces or families that you don't actually appreciate to be with, there are moments you experience that will be so painful that you will never walk out of them, however long it takes. Even if you live for 10 years, you will never walk out of that situation. Of course, that situation will keep reliving. It will keep reliving. And there are people whom you will never feel like meeting again. Even after 20 years of your existence, you will never feel like you should ever meet them again because you think they made a hell out of your experience. Now, this is the reality that most people don't appreciate. Now, let's look at this, and I avoid those others. Maybe I'll come to talk about that another time. So, of course, Rocio Cabrera came up on a video to share the breakup. And Marwa is saying that Rocio did not actually call him to prepare him for the news. According to him, he could actually watch and just collapse. He said that it was, let's say, a driving moment. He said that thank God he doesn't drive. I was like, relax, man. Are you really appreciating that you don't know how to drive regardless of having the expensive vehicles in your package? I wouldn't be proud of that. For me, I wouldn't be happy that actually I don't know how to drive and I have parked very expensive vehicles in my parking lot. Why? We buy these things to use them. We are living here for a very short period. We may live for a maximum of 70 or whatever years, but how many years are existing on earth? So many, right? We don't know how many thousands and millions of years are going to actually cover this world before it ends. They always say it will come to an end, but I always believe the end is when everybody reaches their ultimatum. So first things first, Marwa again came and said something here. He indicated that some people really want to be loved. Who doesn't want to be loved? Let me tell you, currently a lot of families are breaking up because either a man or a woman doesn't consider the emotions of the other. They make an assumption that because they are feeding you, or maybe they are paying rent, or maybe because they take care of your kids, that's enough. Unfortunately, I share some sentiments with Rocio. I don't know why, in some sense, the male gender make an assumption that a woman is satisfied by just provisions. Sometimes women can provide for themselves those things, okay? And even if it is little that you are doing. You know, when I saw Rocio in Argentina, she began glowing because she was getting the affection that she really wanted. You know, there's a moment you just want someone to be concerned about you. When they step in the house, maybe to feel like you are a human being who has emotions, someone who wants to be reminded about why you came together, someone who will actually feel your pain, someone who will be actually emotionally attached to you, people who will actually be ready to experience what you're experiencing. Now, women go through a lot, I can agree. Women go through a lot. We go through not just emotional aspect, but we go through chemical, biological, physical, and so many other things happen to us every day, you know. And most times, I don't know, I saw the same thing happening to size 8. And unfortunately, when people watch them, they just want to attack them as women, maybe calling them gold diggers. And somebody says, when it is your opportunity to actually acquire these things, you say you are just having an opportunity and people love you and they are providing for you. But when somebody else gets the same opportunity, you say they are gold diggers. So many people have been calling Rocio Cabrera gold digger. And when she comes out to speak, you wonder if she was a gold digger indeed, she would have made sure that she manipulates Marwa, makes sure that they actually marry, and she has certificates so that at this moment she would actually as a bait to acquire so much property, maybe in of division. She never made it to do that. Do you think that when the parents came, that was the moment? People thought so, by the way. On the internet, many people thought that the parents are coming so that they officially enhance a marriage. Now, remember, Rocio has gone through a humiliation of a moment, people calling her a gold digger. At the same time, people have been calling her a baby mama. You can imagine you are a wife of somebody waking up every day to that environment. Remember, this guy testifies that he is a village boy, and he's not going to change today or tomorrow. He will remain to be. He has even come himself as a village boy. He has even sought that subscribers give him names of what a village boy means. He wants, remember, not a man. There is a difference between a village boy and a village man. Now, how can you travel the entire world, visit 70 countries, and you still come back and you declare yourself a village boy? Village boy, remember, not village man even. Now, Marwa has come out to say that he will never change. He will be who he is. I don't disagree with the fact that he should look for property, that he should actually make himself better than who he was. But already, you can see even currently Marwa is better than who he was. He has a lot of property. He has made a lot of mileage in his life. And I believe if it comes to saving, he must have saved a lot of money because Marwa hardly uses his own money. Most times we see him using money that he has asked for donations from people who are assisting through super slaps and what have you. So they have really managed to enhance his life. And so the percentage of the life he runs is managed by other people, not himself. So how can you come out and now tell people that you still can't commit to love, that love does not even scratch him? That's what he said. Now, many of you are just judging and saying she should go to hell and what have you. But if Marwa knew very well that he wants someone who will treat him like a village boy, why did he actually engage with a woman he knew is so much attached to city life, because that is exactly what Marwa said. And I want to play a script so that I don't keep letting you just listen to me and me and me. I want you to listen to both of them, and then we proceed. Let me bring along Marwa, testifying what he says is a village boy is not going to change. Let's hear this.
Through pain, suffering, luxury, achievement. Then today I woke up with a big surprise. But she had told me that she wanted to do a video on YouTube to say we are separated. Me, I've never agreed we are separated. It's her who was separated from me.
It's very funny, guys. Now, a man coming out to declare that he has never agreed that they have separated, that the woman is the only one who is separating herself from. What a farce. Guys, this is manipulation of the highest order. I believe Marwa is just trying to manipulate the subscribers so that they blame Rocio fully. As far as in this video is coming up to say that let them not attack the mother of the children, let them not actually go and talk against her. But why is he trying to say that it is only Rocio separating herself from him? Sometimes actions speak louder. For me, I believe more in actions. You cannot be praising me at the same time you're actually throwing me away. You cannot. You cannot be declaring that you still love me or care about me when at the same time, whatever actions you are showing. Now, you remember the last time Marwa was trying to make Rocio actually paint something, I think beds. Who does that? With that amount of money, how would you make your wife paint something, the beds of the family when they are coming? And we felt very much that there was something, there was a problem. We felt that. Most of us felt it. But there are those who are denying it, but we felt, no, there is a serious problem. You can't actually be making your wife, whom you love, to paint the beds for the family when they are coming, you know? Now, it came to paying of the tickets. You remember Rocio had to pay the tickets for the parents. But Marwa came about to talk about it and even claimed that the family has made him spend a lot of money on their meals. Who complains on such things? That means there is lack of affection here. And Rocio came out to really share that clearly, say that this family lacked affection, something that herself, as she was growing up, she never saw in her family. And I don't want to blame Marwa squarely. I'll come to talk about Rocio on the other end. And I'm just doing typically on what happens in most relationships, guys. Whether you are a man or a woman listening, just pay attention to whatever points I'll share. So this is what Marwa has come out to say.
I want to make this very clear. It's her concept, it's her idea, it's her thoughts of separation. Me and you, as any other family, any other couple, problems come and go, and life keeps going on.
Yeah, listen to that. So this man believes that you can actually lack affection for your wife, and they just settle around and continue, possibly because he saw that con mom all the time. She has been withstanding Machete Man regardless of being hit by Machete Man all the time. You have heard of that domestic violence. Now, when Rocio ran from the village during that moment of shouting, you remember, now Marwa comes out to deny that he cannot use family for content. What was that? When he came out on a video and actually talked about Gitriba, and the fact that when we don't see him with Gitriba, we should not ask questions. Now, people who are within that village came out to elucidate on that aspect, and they indicated that it seemed that he believed that maybe Gitriba was going a mileage with the wife, and there was a scratch on that vehicle, so he kept shouting. And in no due course, we saw that Rocio disappeared from the scenes. Then the next time we saw her, they were reconciling from Nairobi. Now, Marwa claims to always hide this moment of humiliation of his family. But I want to ask, why is it that Marwa exposes other families online? Like, why does he talk about Gitripa's breakup? He always talks about Uncle Ogutu's life. he also goes ahead and talks about even other families within that village. If you think that it's humiliating to talk about your own family, why would you talk about other people's family? You should keep it at bay that as humiliated as you are by people talking about your family or yourself, the same happens to other people. But I don't understand. I'm trying to understand on my own why Marwa feels like he has a right to talk about other families or expose them while he keeps his at bay. Now, did Rocio make the right step? I think he did. She did make the right step because people have been actually questioning a lot. And people have been pushing her into blaming her and all that. Now, she came out to clear the airs. And as you heard from her video, she is not trying to blame Marwa and make him look so bad. Of course, given that they shared a blanket or saliva, it's not a moment to really come out and make Marwa look like, the evil or whatever. The next girlfriend should understand for herself whether she will withstand that. Many people feel like Maro should simply go for an African girl. Major stand all over the place. You are there touching the toilets parts. There you are urinating on camera. There are these shenanigans that Maro conducts. Sometimes they are very disgusting. And you would expect more from that. If he's a village boy, village people, what they do? They reason like village people. When it comes even to ideas, when you have ideas such as even content creation, they think you are trying to market yourself. You relate with opposite gender, they'll think you are into a relationship with others. They'll always want to see a woman as their mother or something. Like if their mother used to take their water to the bathroom, that's exactly what they'll want you to do. If they have seen their mother as the only person in the house to cook and take care of the kids, like bathe them and do whatever these small activities in the house are, they'll want you to do the same because they're reasoning like villagers, If they have always brought so many people in the house, they'll not even know that there is privacy. And I think those are the situations that Rocio did not like. They will even allow their mother to come and scorn you in your own house. I think you've heard Rocio indicating that the mother-in-law was very intrusive at some point, even asking her why she's not pregnant. You can imagine, you have just married somebody's son, and the mother comes and asks you why you have not got pregnant. You know the answer you would give them. It would send them off. And I think that's where we never understood online why the relationship between Rocio and that family was never close. From even the one daughter, even Dimwango, and the other one who is married, Winnie, the mother-in-law and all that, we never saw that closeness at all. Of course, we may say that maybe Rocio was too much also, that she never tried to make them come to terms with herself, but depending on how they treated her, maybe looking at her as a foreigner, someone with a different culture and all that, instead of embracing it. And I'm very sorry that currently the family posts as an international one. Of course, with Dimwango just married in Poland. Though Poland people, they have so much of culture like the Korean people. The difference is very minor. The only difference is that maybe the setting of Poland is different from Korea. But when I look at things, there is much similarity, no much difference. But anyway, let's come back to Marwa, then we'll be going to Rocio very soon.
That does not mean I'm desperate for Rocio. It simply means I didn't want to leave the relationship.
Okay.
If that makes me desperate, you can.
Now, of course, you hear from the testimony in that video. He's just trying to throw caution to wind, indicating that he was not even desperate for her. What is this? You have clearly said that you don't want to make her look like you are a sinner or whatever. But why would you say that you don't want to be desperate for her? Of course, no one has asked you to be desperate. People are just asking general questions. Why this? Did you even cheat? Rocio, in her video, she came up to indicate that Marwa hung to the previous relationships. Sometimes it may not be really that you are cheating, but if you still connect back to your ex, what do you expect your wife or husband to think? What do you expect? Because what more can you discuss with your ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend? What more? There is more intimacy than any other. And remember, she was missing on intimacy. So he was, she was actually missing on that. And she may actually easily think that it was because Marwa was committing to the other. Anyway, let's listen a bit and then we go to Rocio.
Me, I wanted to have a woman who we can build through pain, suffering, luxury, achievement, all that. So if she chooses otherwise, that was on her.
So be it. So he says, so be it, okay? So, of course, we don't expect him to fight for anything. And remember, Rocio has come out to say that it was easier for the parents to come for her. Maro on the other side is saying that it was the moment when the parents were there when the wife told him that she wants to go home because she's missing on a lot. She's not seeing herself doing much here. Does he mean that he never understood that message clearly to mean separation? It's made for women over 55 who want. And I don't think that Rocio would just wake up one day and say that finally I'm leaving. Women don't show that. They'll give up. Of course, she said herself that she lost herself even before pregnancy. And when pregnancy came and later, it wasn't because she realized that this family is not the kind of family she wants to make a child with. I think I should play that part where she was explaining this.
Smaller. I slowly started to change. And that shouldn't happen in our relationship. And that's why I pushed. It's very sad that a lot of women are defending this or going against me just for the culture, for because it's a man, just because they cannot take it, and nothing can take away what I felt, what I was.
All right, guys. So most times celebrities come up on camera, smile, and do their thing. Even though there's a moment that Rocio could not just keep it up. And I remember reactors coming up to react on this, telling that things were not okay. And she would come out and speak and say that she's just like any other person and she's experiencing the life like any other person, all right? So while she said that, people would backlash her, bring her down and do whatever they did, okay? But in the process, we want to understand one thing, yeah? She kept showing it. I think so. For the least, I remember she kept showing it. She was unhappy, but she could put on her face and go to camera and do some videos because that is the part of her job anyway. But she was paining. And she has said clearly that the pain she went through cannot be healed. Of course, whenever we go through pain, most people ignore. Some people will even say, what is she trying to say? Isn't she having better? You know, people think that whatever they are having as a pleasure to them is an experience for others. When I'm paining, I'm paining. When I'm suffering, I'm suffering. And even if you pick a gun and point to my head, you will not stop me from thinking how I'm thinking or actually feeling what I'm feeling. And no one will take that pain away or suffering. So that should be very clear. But people don't understand this. They just think that they can say whatever they want or act whatever they want to make you better. It cannot. It will not erase that pain. So one reality that Rocio is actually experiencing is that her suffering, her pain, was not actually perceived by any other person apart from her family. And no one will take that pain from her, no matter what. But anyway, let's listen more.
Expecting from him, and then he did what he did. So it was very difficult to recover from that. After, during the postpartum, it was very hard as well. It was very hard. I don't intend this video to talk trash about Marwa or anything, but there were a lot of things that were wrong and that shouldn't happen in our relationship, and that's why it pushed me to make this decision. Yes, I feel mad, I feel disappointed, I feel sad that things didn't work. Yes, of course. It was a very painful process. That's why I kept quiet and silent when I left. But I had to. I know how hard I tried to make a living in the village, but honestly it was very hard for me. It's funny because sometimes some people say that happiness comes within us. And yeah, that is a part that is true. But the environment is very important. I think Marwa met the happiest woman in Mexico.
All right, guys. Of course, if you go back to the previous videos, we'll see that Rocio was so excited. I saw that video where they actually parted on the last date they had. She was on a motorbike driving, and he gave a T-shirt and all that. They made promises. They shared saliva and all that. It was the sweetest moment if you watch in their videos. And I can't lie, when you check on their other videos, you'll see that. Now, Rocio actually has come out clear to say that the mistake she did was never to actually date this guy for the longest time so that she understands him and he understands her, which is the greatest mistakes many people do. Maybe they are blindfolded by promises or the quick settlement. Remember, Dimongo has also shared the same to us. She has said that she did not have to require a lot of time to share with Piotr, even though their moment seems to be bigger, because for Rocio says it was just 2 weeks or something. I don't know whether she was saying the truth when she was indicating that they just met briefly and she had not even known him from that virtual space. She had not checked the background. She came to check that later, which is the greatest mistake she did. Now that she knew he was a traveler, she was supposed to have checked actually on his background and understand how this guy behaves. He could have known, she could have clearly known that this person was not affectionate, because how can a man keep changing women? If a man can afford to change women in every country he travels, it automatically tells you that he doesn't have any affection for someone whatsoever. Nothing will you give her or him to actually make him change. And it was very, people found it ironical that this man now settled when he sat with Marwa, Rocio. And that's why I think some people always felt like she could go. People felt like the life of Marwa would be stuck. That is why they always looked at Rocio like something which was a stumbling block to the career of Marwa, because before, Marwa used to declare that he will just have 10 baby mamas, 10 kids, and he will build an empire for them. He will take care of those kids wherever they are. So people used to watch Marwa with that mindset. And when Rocio came, they saw that as a destabilization. I don't know why. People don't expect change in life many times. They think that maybe on a route to change, it's a different lane, a difficult one. And with that mindset, people assumed that maybe Rocio was a problem. And I understand why people blamed Rocio more than blaming Marwa. Even though, when you look at Marwa, sometimes I feel like he's sensational, sometimes he's so emotional, sometimes he wants to put blame on others. You can see even the workers he has had, whether it's Matata, whichever other worker, he puts blame on them. On the other side, he wants to actually elevate himself as a person who has saved the society, who has done greatly, who has really achieved a lot. Of course, he has achieved. We don't disregard that. But at the expense of the family, that doesn't really look okay. And unfortunately, his mother comes up and says, my son has just achieved. For him, he just sees the blanket part of the son transitioning from that poor boy to a boy who is owning now villa and having a large following and doing content every day, managing the horses. Now, for the first time, Rocio came up to disregard the fact that she's the one who pushed him to buy horses and explain something. We will be getting to that later. But meanwhile, let's listen to her explanation here before we come back to that.
I slowly started to become smaller. I slowly started to change, and I was fighting this battle, trying to make things work, but I felt very lonely on the boat, hundreds of times. And I'm not talking about being alone or the solitude, which is something that I'm very used to, and I love my solitude. But when you feel lonely when being with someone, I felt that 3 times more painful. I did try to have a lot of compassion from his background. Marwa grew up in a very harsh environment, and what he learned as love is very different from what I learned. So I did try to be compassionate about it and to have empathy and to understand that sometimes you cannot give what you don't have. And from my side, I did try very much that we both teach each other like these love languages. The way that we show love and we receive love, it was very different. Um, I feel like he was expecting from me to give him something that it wasn't coming naturally because I wasn't receiving what I needed from him. If you know, like, um, if you understand that, that was the issue that was happening, and I think we were never able to meet each other in the middle. Unfortunately, a lot of ugly things also happened in the middle, which I'm not going to talk about.
All right, guys, you realize that Rocio didn't want to open the Pandora here. But Marwa still comes out and says she can make videos and videos. If she wants, she can do episode 10. You get that? So he's actually pulling her and telling her to go make even 10 episodes if she wants. What a farce. You know, it looks very absurd that he really comes out and speaks in a manner that is not really gratifying for this lady, the Argentinian lady. But on the other hand, he's trying to make himself look like he's so innocent, guilty, he did not push her away, he's not the one who asked for separation and all that. What does it matter? You know, from our interpretation, he clearly did it through his actions. She's just talking verbally to say that it's gone, you know? And I've said this earlier. So when I look at what Rocio is sharing here, people may have their thoughts. I have my thought here, and that's what I'm sharing. The fact that indeed she has appreciated, she really gained from the relationship. She actually was given a baby. She actually had the life that she enjoyed at some point. But, you know, sometimes people think all we have to enjoy is wealth. All we have to enjoy is that presence of that man. You have own careers, you have own thoughts about what you wanted for family. It is not okay to actually play. The place I actually blame Rocio is that this is a popular person who had the personality, or rather his dreams on the limelight. He had publicized it in his videos. When you actually began to engage with him, before you made a decision to travel all the way to Africa, Nyabohanse, and packed your bags, you should have thought about what exactly it was, and you could see. Actually, from what we've been watching on Marwa, he was very fierce, or rather wild, if I may say. Wild, racing from one woman to another, talking about his dreams, which, from my thought, I don't see them rhyming with the Marwa from Rocio, because Rocio says very different. And of course, given that her parents and her family were also on the limelight, she would have automatically known what they live for. She would have known. I don't see how she can come out and say she didn't know. I don't know. I'm just giving a general view of what I feel that women should do, even though it's unfortunate that the current children we have, I am sorry to say this, but when you look at the current generation that we have, they don't take time. In fact, when they meet a man or a woman, within minutes, they can even jump to bed with that man or woman. It's unfortunate. But this is the reality of life. This is what is happening. And actually, to some point, people are commenting on this guy that came, the Russian man that came to Kenya, and seeing women are simple, are easy to go. Guys, forget about what you thought. And I'm going to say something very sensitive, so I hope kids are not watching this. Actually, these things people refer to one night stand. Does it happen in Africa more than in Western world? I don't think so. So I think it's very wrong for people to think that it's African women who are easy to go or easy to actually fall in love. I don't think so. I've watched paternity test court moments, and I've seen the most wild situations on those platforms. Actually, a woman who can even go with the 5 men in a day. I've seen that. I've watched that and I've seen that a woman who is confused after bearing a child, they are jumping, mentioning one man after another. I've seen married ones, of course. And the same has happened to those men because you find they are being mentioned in paternity cases. So don't actually say that it's African or Kenyan women who are easy. It's not the case. Maybe it's just the aspect of current generation. And so let me go back to the discussion. I am sorry that I'm actually at some point blaming her, but I'm just saying the realities of life. Maybe what other people should learn to do, because after all, for them, they know their mistakes and they are trying to come out and say. So when we speak here, we're not even speaking for them. We are speaking for those other people who are yet to go through life, right?
But yeah, the weight of all of that led me to make this decision to make promises about improving, making things better. Words disappear in the wind. I think we reached a point where he was expecting from me to do certain things, and I was expecting from him to do certain things, and it was
Pull and
an
push.
ego fighting on you have to start. No, you have to start. No, you have to do first. No, you have to do first. I do feel like the man must lead the relationship, that he's supposed to be the head of the family, and I do feel I allow him. But I do believe that a good leader can also should be a good listener and should take advices from other people and should be really open to listen to the woman next to him. Sadly, in this relationship, I didn't feel hurt. I didn't feel seen. I didn't feel loved a lot of time. The typical opinion is, Rocio, he bought you a car, he bought you the horses, you have a big house. That's not my love language. The car wasn't mine, number one. The horses was a very beautiful act of love from him, yes, and he knows how much I appreciate it. And maybe if I need to be clear about the business with the horses that Marwa started, I have nothing to do with it. A lot of people think it's my fault that he's buying and he go crazy. Marwa just get obsessed with things and there's nothing that you can stop him.
Now, of course, these people said they don't want to make the other look whatever he looks, but she says here the business of horses was an obsession that Marwa came up with, and of course we've been seeing. The other day you saw Marwa mentioning the aspect of breeding dogs. An aspect that just, sparks, and he picks it and sings it even to the people watch. You see the aspect of the fish, he picked it and he sings with it. You remember the aspect of when he began this stud thing, Apalosa or whatever, even though he has lost 3 horses, even though recently he was in Nairobi talking to this lady and the lady discouraging him from just considering breeding and the fact that horses need to be trained and you need to invest a lot, but at the same time, you need to make something from them. Did he listen? Not at all. You have seen him thinking about breeding of dogs. Will he stop? Maybe not. He will look possibly and do much in that. No matter whoever comes and speaks, of course, he said nobody will really affect or have an impact on whatever thought he has. Now, on the other hand, we've seen him talking about some things. I want to bring him back before I bring Rocio again. Here. Oh my God.
Los grandes sueños empiezan dando pequeños pasos, desde registrar tu dominio hasta crear tu web, tu correo y proteger.
All right.
But above all, they're still family. Above all, they are still family. Above all, I'm related to them through my son. Above all, Mr. Luis is my very good friend. Above all, Okay? So, this is a private matter. If you want to talk about it more and more and more, you can go watch her channel. Then she'll do episodes and episodes and episodes.
Look at that careless remark.
Something I've learned these days, like we human beings, most of the time, we don't care about anything else. And it's not all of us, but most people don't care about anything else.
Really?
It's not about them.
So if you look at this, of course, Marwa is trying to blame Rocio that she's being selfish, she's caring so much about herself. Of course, we should think about ourselves. When the Bible says that you care about your neighbors, you care about yourself. Why is it that yourself is brought there first? So you must, of course, make yourself comfortable first before you make another person comfortable, right? Yeah, so when Marwa says this, and he says that he's not selfish, in many situations we've seen that he's selfish, even though he may not understand it. But when we look at matters like recently when he was talking about Ogutu, Uncle Ogutu, he is ready to deduct his salary because of a mere raincoat, which is worth 450 shillings, a whole boss with so much money. When you look at that, what do you think? He was ready to actually do away with Musavi all the time after praising him left and right. He prioritized himself and did away with Musavi and talked wherever he talked. He said he was not the worker, but he used to work in his villa all the time. The matatas, the whatever, all that we have seen around, there is a part where Marwa is selfish, but he will never accept it here. When recently he gave the rabbits to Mose, did he actually give for free? No, he was paid. So that means everybody, in one way, we are selfish, all of us. All of us, you like it or not, you may testify or not, but that is what I know. All right? But anyway, let's listen to more facts that is pouring here to blame Rocio. Did he bring around?
In other words, it's a give and take. And that's the world we are.
Okay.
So, generally, if you can't be a little bit selfless, okay?
A little
And
bit.
this I'm not addressing it to my ex or whoever.
You are. Why even insinuate that?
I'm just giving you a lesson, baby. Because
Which
you know
lesson
find
to who?
yourself here. You know, we are all human beings.
What lesson here?
And we love a feeling of being loved, and being kissed in the morning, making love, and beautiful hearts.
Oh my
So
God.
you could be laughing at me today, but you can actually.
Now, Marwa is actually downplaying.
Like this.
Now, remember, he says he's not actually addressing Rocio, but why is he mentioning the things that Rocio actually indicates to have missed? Why is he doing that? So he's actually denying it. It's just a denial, but the reality is there, okay? And we are not laughing at you, Marwa. Breakups are everywhere. Currently, they are happening. They'll even happen maybe to us or may happen. And we will always have a reason as to why we have walked away. Maybe we are the shit, no problem. Maybe we are the whatever. But there is no one who is perfect. But then sometimes when you are too much on some things, and people sometimes warned you, I see on comments, sometimes people could tell you, at least show some affection to your wife, at least reduce the number of people coming to the villa, at least give time to your wife. You remember? But you never paid attention because you say you are village boy, so village boy you must remain. Okay. So why are you even going further to look for a international wife? Just look for a local wife. Local wife like Paris can stand this, but not an international. I guess they may not.
It will be difficult. It will be difficult. At some point in your life, you have to compromise. Trust me. You have
Of
to
course, but
compromise.
not too much.
Some days you have to be just a fool
Really?
for that day to be okay.
Not every
You
now and
cannot
then.
say I'm all knowing, I know everything, and and again, I'll say this: anybody celebrating about
Who is celebrating now?
I have learned it from the internet the way you are learning.
Silence is golden. Why did you not keep quiet? If you don't want to address this, why are you talking about
And
it?
I'm not here to discuss anybody
You are.
about, oh, he did this to me, she did.
You are.
Okay.
Indirectly, you are sharing,
And thank God I have a
right?
son, at least he will come back home. and enjoy what Dad has been building. Okay.
Are you sure about this?
I'm just trying to put subscribe on.
Are you sure about this, Marwa? Of course, you are in a position to assist your son, just as you are saying you'll step in as a father. And Rocio has said, of course, you should do whatever is necessary as a father, because a child doesn't just grow. Remember, you must go back to history and remember that this happened to you because of your father. Now, history comes and repeats itself. Whatever makes it do it, we don't know. And of course, this is what now should hit you so that you remember what your father just said. Kohera Senior. He might not be an outstanding man. He might not be rich. He might not be like you. But now, can the reality hit you? Of course, you are blaming Rocio in one way, even though you are not saying it directly. Continue.
Now, me as a father, I have a right to see my son.
Of course you have, but will
I have
you?
a right to see my son. And I also want my son to grow in my presence.
You may not have
Even
that.
if the mother has been separated, she can come live in the next room.
You think she will do, she won't.
Somewhere. But I want to be around my son. He's all I'm working hard for.
Can you imagine? Marwa has no shame. He's coming up to say that Rocio can come and spend in one of his rooms. Rocio has lived here for all that time. She did not have warm water. She did not have the love and affection or whatever. You think she will not move on and get married elsewhere? And of course, she will be in custody of her son. So how else do you expect that her life is going to be stagnant and she will actually come back in your villa and stay in one room as you stay in another? This is so absurd. I don't want to laugh at this, but that imagination is beyond expectation. When your mother moved away from your father and came to be married to Machete Man, did she ever go back? Did you ever go back to your father? That is what you should ask yourself, so that while you judge your father harshly, remember these things happen. When women move away and she's saying she was in such much pain, she's not sharing particularly what you did, but people used to say you could beat her. Gintu has said it. We've had also even reactors saying it. And generally people saying that things were not very good in the villa. So if that happened, do you believe that she will come back and settle in another room? Even you as Marwa, a village boy, will you accept that? Village boys don't do that. So don't lie to us. Don't try to play a cool guy online for whatever reasons you are doing, okay? Somebody's calling and I didn't want to respond. She called and she was so persistent. So that's why I've said we'll talk later. Just a while, maybe after 10 minutes, I'll be out of these streets, 60 minutes. So guys, Marwa is trying to blame Rocio so much and make himself clean. This sanitization behavior, I don't think I'm so perfect, but I think if you mistreated me, I would just say so. And of course, Rocio has come out to say so. Now remember, in fact, Rocio tried so much. If it was a woman from USA or UK, she would not have lasted even beyond the delivery, if indeed what she's sharing and what we have seen on the streets, truthful. In fact, Rocio came up with such a statement. I don't remember the specific minute, but she said something about the mother-in-law. Let me see if it's here.
I'm not really studying Rocio. I think I effort myself more than he did. Probably from his point of view, everything is opposite, of course, because it's most of the time it was a battle of ego. So it was this romantic part that was very necessary for me. It was very insistent, but I continue carrying and trying because all the advices around that culture differences, give it a try to learn each other, I wasn't really like open to give up so quickly, even though there was those parts that were absent in a common relationship or what is common for me. I didn't want to give up that easy on this relationship because of everything that we were doing or everything that I did. Absolutely. Um, but yes, Mara really pushed that idea for us to do it, for us to build a family. I did find some lies for him to show this conquer part. Yes, I guess that's what it would have been good, like to show more effort, and try to get to know me. But things move so fast, and he showed himself so um, confident about it, and you don't meet people like that every single day.
Yeah.
I think I come from this generation where everyone is learning to let go and this fear of commitment that everybody has. So that was a shocking expression, and I kind of like it. I liked it. And he claimed that I could trust him.
He claimed that I could trust him, right?
I did find some lies after he met me, and he went and kept on meeting other women and stuff like that. And he was promising that nothing was happening. A woman always finds the truth. Long time after that, yes. Long time after that. The issue was that moving to Kenya, start like living together, this moment where I think is very interesting and important. I don't know.
Now, you guys, you remember there is a party that happened at the villa, and Marwa actually welcomed Paris. Paris was the ex-girlfriend of Marwa. And so many people even came up with stories about what's going on behind the camera. And we've seen a lot of stories going on, by the way. As far as Marwa is denying not to have slept with another woman or had intimacy with another woman, we don't know. If Rocio says she found out, who are we not to follow the script, you know? Now, she shared another part that she thinks was actually intrusive, and let's listen.
Know the word in English right now, but it's especially when the man is trying to conquer the woman and going on dates and showing this interest. That kind of disappeared when I moved to Kenya because I found this very busy man in the middle of a huge party with a lot of people, and then it was, and the environment. I really risk it all. I really risk it all because I moved to this village where there's actually not a lot of things to do, or at least things that please me to do, to also like continue with my life the way that it was used to, trying to have the activities that I used to have, and surroundings, environment, everything was very, very different. And it became very lonely for me as well. Then the pregnancy happened very fast. Yes, that happened very, very fast. Do I regret? Not at all. Not at all, because Maisha has been the biggest blessing for me. And that's the thing
Now, of course, people keep blaming Rocio for that part, that she should have waited. She used to meet so many people, according to what she have told us, but she never used to get pregnant. But when she came to the villa, she decided. Now, she said it's because they wanted family. I don't understand this, but there is some controversy here because she said she really didn't expect it. I don't know. Let's listen more.
when when I take a look back, and I wonder why all these things happen, when maybe I remember the ugly part of it. Um, and when I wonder how did I allow myself to be in that position to tolerate those things, etc. The only answer that comes to my mind that brings me peace is because Maisha was meant to be born. Maisha was meant to be born with Rocio as a mother and Marwa as a father. At least that's the one that brings me um, an answer that brings peace to my heart. Culturally, yes, I started to realize, it's not that I knew, I didn't know. As I'm telling you, I jumped. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I didn't even did a research on how the Kenyan culture.
All right. So for that part, of course, all of us would blame Rocio, because how do you get entangled in a long-term relationship without researching? Because even us within Kenya, when we are marrying somebody from a different tribe, we try to understand whether it's possible or not. And as we go into it, we try to say that maybe we'll stand this or tolerate or fight it, whatever it is. But anyway, she said what she said.
Sure was how the African men were. I didn't do anything. I didn't overthink. I just went. And so that's when I started to understand that culturally we were very, very opposite in many things. I come from one of the most affectionate cultures ever, ever, ever. And from the other hand, he comes from one of the less affectionate cultures ever. And I was really surprised, like why God would bring two people like that together. He knows why. But I think we still gave it a try. We continue to get to know each other, and I will admit that even though it was very hard for me at the beginning to, most of the time, woman, we want to feel wanted, we want to feel desired, and it was like this thought in my mind, like if he doesn't really want me or desire me, or it's just the culture. And I understood, and I had to learn that it was the culture. In this case, I feel like everything was about me really studying Marwa, and Marwa really studying Rocio. I think I effort myself more than he did. Probably from his point of view, everything is opposite, of course, because it's most of the time it was a battle of ego. So it was this romantic part that was very necessary for me. It was very insistent, but I continue carrying and trying because all the advices around that culture differences, give it a try to learn each other.
All right, so we will be ending with the part where Marwa blames her more. And he says that she was a woman who wanted luxury, a city life, to be wanted, to be felt, she was about herself. What about that?
Maybe it's time even I have more kids. Maybe they will come and run here around with that. So it's a sad learning, guys. Even me, I'm learning this. And Rocio has decided to say, we are separated on the internet. She didn't even call me to tell me I'm going to announce this, guys. And there's a time she mentioned something like this in the back. I told her, hey, look, if your views are low and you want to use family to make views, it's okay. But it's not advisable for you to use our family to make views. And that is all I said. And let's say honestly you want to separate. You just separate quietly and life goes on. But now that it's become to my attention, I have to address this. People are calling me my phone.
So Marwa says
Are you
that Rocio should have walked away quietly. Sometimes we don't make to decide what other people do because Rocio is not you, you are not her. She has said that clearly, that you had that difference of personality and ego. Your ego allows you to keep quiet. Her ego allows her to talk about it. Which one is better? I don't know. Maybe the viewers should say something about it. Thank you so much for watching, liking my video, and following. Let's keep growing. But these are just learning points. And as we do the critical analysis, our focus is not about laughing at anybody or scorning. It's about pointing out to others, because I don't even expect Maro to watch my channel or a show, but I expect other people who are watching to learn from it. You know, that's why we do the critical analysis. We don't do for Maro or Rocio, right?
okay? Yes, I'm okay. Very composed, very calm. Okay, don't go there and harass. Just go. AI can now build a website in 90 seconds, while the only AI most people over 40 know is ChatGPT. Disappear for a month and do. Go and tell her we wish her the best. Because she's the one who has announced, not me. Driving and I meet such news, I would be. Right now, you'll be posting pigeons, white pigeons, like this. So thank God it found me while I was relaxed in my bed, sleeping like this, and I read, Rocio Cabrera announces separation from Kenyan travel YouTube Ayamar. Now, yes. You sure this is what you've decided? She said yes. I'm 100% sure. I feel like being here, I'm not achieving what I want to achieve, especially her music career. So I say, thank you, King Nero. Thank you so much. So I said, it's okay.
All right, guys. So when you listen to that, I don't think Rocio would not have achieved music if Marwa was supportive. But the fact that Marwa did not try to support her in this, he was just bringing that as another agenda, but he was forcing land on her. Something that Rocio was not so much into. She looked more like she was being coerced into following Marwa's dreams, which is not the reality. We grow up as different people, we have different dreams, different beliefs, different thoughts, different, you know, and therefore trying to make her live a life that the husband wanted. And yesterday, you remember, is it yesterday or the other day? Um, you know, like Dimongo came up to actually begin a sarcastic statement about driving husband's vehicles, living a life under husband, living, you know, like you should always do what the husband tells you. All those statements, I don't think she will also tolerate them up to the end. We are different people. There's no way you can be your husband. There's no way you can be your wife. The only thing that happens in marriage is we compromise some percentages, but we can't change our identity fully for somebody. That's why you see when people separate at 40, 50, and whatever age, because people have tried for the longest time possible, but they are not going to make it. Anyway, when I was looking at Marwa's channel, people were dropping comments, and what piqued my interest was Dimongo's, you know, Dimongo was just like, Mitoto will be okay. People think we are angels. That's my bro. You know, she was dropping very funny comments. I was looking at them and thinking, if I were her, I would have kept quiet, because on her own video, she said that she doesn't want any sad news. She doesn't want any sad news. And I was like, why are you feeling like there are sad news, yet your brother says there's no sadness about it and he's so calm and composed? If she has decided, so be it. But anyway, guys, let's end here. We've done 1 hour, and we will be coming later to do another video in the course of the day. Thank you for watching us. We will be always connected, right? Bye-bye for now.